We are now joined by the CEO of the Independent Examinations Board, Anne Oberholzer. Well, very welcome to the show, and thank you for joining us here on ANN7 Morning Prime.
Good morning to you, and it's my pleasure to be here. Let
me ask you, what is your overall view of the results that came out across the board? It seems that it has increased and it has gone better this year.
We're very, very pleased with the results. I think the learners have done exceptionally well, and their teachers have supported them well. And that has resulted in an improvement in the pass rate. We really are happy about that because these learners have been in school, 12 years, I think? And, you know, they've had to work hard all 12 years to get good results now.
And the 10 new schools that joined the IEB, how difficult was that to get that pass rate to this level with the new schools that just joined in this year?
Well, the 10 new schools that have come in have been with us from the grade 10 year. So they've been preparing their learners for the IEB curriculum exam from grade 10. So by the time they've got to matric, they're really clear on what the demands are and the standards, and they've worked with the children to produce what they need to produce.
And if you can give us some insight on the individual results of provinces, which provinces did really well compared to some others that didn't really achieve what they wanted to this year?
Yeah. At the IEB, we don't actually break down into provinces simply because of the numbers. If you look in Gauteng, there's over 100 schools, whereas in, for example, the Eastern Cape, there's 14 schools. Now, an average over 100 versus an average over 14, can you really compare that? Because it's, you know, the samples are so vastly different.
Or can we look at the different subjects, perhaps, how good the children did in mathematics, which has been a very big subject of concern for some people this year?
Well, mathematics, we're very lucky in the IEB that we have a very good mathematics teaching community. 2/3 of the IEB students offer mathematics versus 1/3 with maths literacy, and their results are always very good. The schools work very hard with the learners right from primary school. They get a good basic knowledge of numeracy and then move into the mathematical thinking. And so we also have an extension program that we run for both state and IEB schools who choose to participate. We call it the Advanced Program Mathematics. And there the pass rate was nearly 90%. It was about 87%. So, yeah, mathematics is alive and well. And the students have done well in it.
And some information on those students that achieved outstanding results in the IEB. Can you give us some information on those students?
Well, the one good thing that we've noticed is that the outstanding students are coming from across the board. They are not coming only from the traditional big independent schools. We've got some of them coming from small, tiny schools in rural areas around the country. And that's great because if you know, there's a perception that if you are in the city, you're going to have a better chance of doing well than if you are in the rural areas. That's not so. It's entirely dependent on the child themselves and the support they get from their teachers and parents. So we don't have a rank order. We have what we call outstanding learners, and that means that they've come within the top 5% of the IEB students in 6 or more subjects. And that's quite an achievement.
It is. And then let's look at the other side of the board. Some of the students that didn't fare so well or did as well as they wanted to, what kind of support systems do you have in place for those children, or what can you do for them to help them achieve this or maybe increase the amount that they got this year?
Yeah. Being an assessment body, we don't actually work directly with the children, but we work with the schools. And through our feedback systems, we are able to tell them, look, these are the areas where learners at your school battled. So in that way, the teachers then can pick up on those reports and decide how they're going to teach those particular sections better. Now, that's for the future. So talking about the learners who have failed, inevitably, if they failed, they probably have realized earlier in the year where they are not coping or where they have been playing more than they should have been and haven't given their attention. So in a sense, this year has been a trial run. Go back, knowing your errors, rectify them, and next year you'll do better. The one thing one must say to children who haven't done as well as they wanted to, it's not the end of the world. You know, there's always another year, and the sun always comes up and shines. So just put your back to the grindstone and do it.
And looking to the future, what are some of the options for the students, both for a degree and a diploma and a higher certificate?
Well, we all know that the universities are really hard pressed to take in students. You hear statistics like 40,000 students applying for 400 places and things like that. So the issue there is, if you really want to go to university and deserve to be at university, take that option. Otherwise, there's a wide field. The technical world in South Africa offers many opportunities to strong students who are not necessarily interested in academia, but want to do a meaningful job of work. So there are opportunities. There's a number of websites. If you go to the Department of Labour website, even the Department of Education, they provide options for learners to try.
And what advice do you have for those matriculants who will be going into the big world next year, as they would call it, and learning how to be independent?
Yeah. For learners who are going into the big world, it demands a lot more than just having a good academic background and a good certificate for matric. It requires a maturity, an understanding of our country. I mean, we are a very diverse country, and if you make the effort to understand and align with the experiences of people in this country, you will stand a very good chance of success. It's about emotional security, emotional maturity and social maturity.
I may be running forward a bit too much, but I want to know, what is your expectations for the IEB students next year? Because they have done so much better this year. Is the expectation just to keep them at this level, or to push it perhaps a bit more?
Well, I mean, from our side, we would want the schools, because that's actually where the push will come, for the schools to go back and look at their results, look at the areas where they may be weak, areas where they may be strong, to fix the weak areas, exploit their strengths. And, well, you know, we set the bar, the schools allow the learners to jump. So we'll see. I don't expect it to drop, but how much higher it can go, I'm not sure either.
And then if we take a look at the grade 11 students who will be going into matric next year, what is your advice for them? How must they take upon this matric year for next year?
They must take the matric year as a year of life experience. The worst thing they can do is to only focus on their books. They should be doing a balanced set of recreations, playing sport, going out with friends and so on. But keep your eye on the ball when it comes to the schoolwork. Make sure you keep up with it. If you don't understand something, address it immediately. Don't leave it for the last minute.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in studio. It has been a pleasure having you here. It's Anne Oberholzer, the Chief Executive Officer of IEB.